You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Rotunda, also known as IRS, Erwin Shyster, formerly with WWF.
What's going on? It's your girl, Valentina Loca.
Hey everybody, this is Rip Studwell.
Hello everybody, it's Ethan Everhart.
What is up, wrestling world? This is the resident rock star of Impact Pro Wrestling, Adam Love.
This is Lars Metzger.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your golden boy, Bryce Jordan.
Woo! It's the Cornbell Cowboy.
The one called Manders, and you're listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Countdown to Bridge City Slam 5. It's hard to believe it's already the fifth Bridge City Slam. Last week, we had JT Energy on the show. Thank you, everybody who tuned into that one. This week, we have another CEW alum who's been here with CEW for the last several years, even through the pandemic, and he's about ready to make his way to another Bridge City Slam with a huge matchup that just got announced here today. And it really culminates from the last show we did where this man cost you the shot at the Battle Royal, and, a huge distraction finish there, forcing you to get eliminated. Yeah, you guys brawled it out in the alleyway there. And, of course, we got Damian Saint going one-on-one with JaredThumb at Bridge City Slam. This is a match, again, we were just talking about before we logged in here, that I'm super excited for, and I know you're super excited for as well, because, like I said, this match, this feud, even goes back to the time of the pandemic, as I'm welcoming in my guest at this time, Mr. JaredThumb. Jared, welcome back to the show, man. It's been a while.
It's a pleasure to be back. Like I was just saying, the last time I was on the show was a while ago, so we have a lot we could
I want to say it was pandemic time, because, I was doing a bunch of interviews kind of for the Power Slam show that Austin was doing, and I want to say I had you come on probably right before we were doing one of those Power Slam episodes.
I think you're actually right. I think it was right before my episode aired.
Yeah.
Which we saw how that happened with a bad guy, JT Energy, who's gone good now, as we've seen, which it's very interesting to go back in those times of Central Empire Wrestling.
Yeah, it's especially for JT. JT's one of those dudes who I feel like everywhere he goes, he's been a bad guy. Now to kind of see him take on the new role as the good guy is something. And I've said the same about Rory Fox, because I was with CEW in that time that they were doing the Not Your Champion stuff, and that was, I can't, even to this day, and I'll tell Austin this, the amount of heat Rory could get, especially from that Oskaloosa crowd, was off the charts. So to actually see guys like him and JT Energy go this new route it's unique, but that also shows a lot about both of their characters too.
I absolutely agree with that for sure. Just to see how the change has happened and with both of them. And I kind of got pulled in when Rory Fox is being the good guy, but he's told me about how everything happened in the past and how it was wrong for him to do that, guiding me down a path that doesn't lead to that. And it's this is the right way of going about things, getting your opportunities in Central Empire Wrestling. And I mean, we had a pretty long tag team title run for a while, so I think we got on the right path for that.
And like I said, we had mentioned before just a little bit, we had you on right before the Power Slam episode aired, and that was one of the coolest things I think anybody did during the time of the pandemic to try and bring some form of entertainment to people. I thought it was just put together really well, and I thankfully well, hopefully, knock on wood, we never see something like that again. But I enjoyed the hell out of that series that Austin and everybody at CEW put together.
Yeah, it was funny how I kind of got reached out about it too, and it was it was still a great honor to actually be reached out to be a part of season 1 and season 2, and it's still talked about to this day. And like, we didn't know where we were going with the pandemic happening, and when shows came back, we didn't know what to expect. And I didn't know what to expect because I didn't hear the audience cheering for me or nothing like that. But when we came back for that first show back and I came out with Rory Fox and everything, you hear that audience is like, wow. It almost really opens your eyes to how dedicated these fans actually are to the product. And it's something I and everybody else can look back and be like, we did that. We did that. Like, it's a big accomplishment, definitely in my career.
Yeah, it was definitely something unique. You have some companies that were doing, shows from their training centers, but this one was just unique because it really just felt like kind of like one of those old Saturday morning wrestling shows that you would see, and with the story being told, and then a match, and then the interview. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the way that Austin and company did all that. And again, it was a good way to kind of still keep you guys in the ring when shows weren't really happening.
Yeah, like nobody else was really running, and then you see everybody else doing the online thing going on with just like matches and shows going on, but you didn't see much of storytelling happening until like you get like the episodic like series of Power Slam. Like you said, like a early Saturday morning wrestling show. Like I used to watch AWA back in the day when they would do reruns and everything. They'd go through like all the stories and they'd rerun all the matches, and it really has that feel to it, which is really cool.
Yeah, it really was. And I feel like I really feel like this feud between you and Damien Saint started even back then, and then it's kind of culminating here a little bit. And we're heading into Bridge City Slam 5. I know you've had some experience with Bridge City Slam. What can you tell somebody who might be watching this or listening to this that doesn't know what Bridge City Slam is and what they can expect from Bridge City Slam? Because I tell people all the time, it's one of the most fun events that you'll be a part of, I think, if you're a wrestling fan in Iowa.
Well, being a part of Bridge City Slam, I started back in Bridge City Slam 3 when we faced Gangrel, and Damien Saint was on the other side as well. And it was very interesting to see back then. And then you see Bridge City Slam 4, where I teamed with Bushwhacker Luke and Donnie Pepper Cricket to take on the now tag team champs in Big Bad Wallace, Rip Studwell, and Axel Grease got put in the match there. And like, if you see the real transition, it's like, man, JaredThumb is really coming a long way where he's going. And you see where Damien Saint is coming from that long way as well. But if you look back at everything between us and the feuding and Power Slam and all the matches we had, Damien Saint and I really never locked horns and really went at it. Like, it was always Rory Fox and Damien Saint fighting each other because they had their beef going on, and I'm over here, trying to protect the title reign the best I can and have my partners back, whether that meant going to war against Damien Saint and doing anything and absolutely anything to keep the titles as long as we can. So when Saint wanted to get involved, I just told Rory, hey, I have your back in this. But, with the experience of Bridge City Slam going on, I wouldn't rank it as far to say that it prepares me for Damien Saint, but the amount of anger, I guess you could say, I have from what he's trying to strike into me is what's preparing me for his match. Because if you remember Legendary Series 1 last year, when him and JT Energy won the belts, getting ready to put JT through a table, he comes up, hey, Jared, I'm still here. And you know what? I'm the cancer you can't get rid of. And I think you know how that ended for him, getting a boot straight into the nose, because that's how I felt about it at that situation. There's certain nerves that not a lot of competitors want to go to try and get in somebody's mind, but I'll give that to Damian Saint. He got in my head, because if you remember what happened right after that, I fell right through the table because I couldn't hold JT energy up.
Yeah, and again, Damian, he's come a long way as well, and he took a hiatus there for a bit, and now to make his way back here, let's talk about a little bit about last year's Bridge City Slam. Though again, we talked about Bridge City Slam being about moments, and we got a lot of great legends coming in this year. What was last year's like? Because at one point, I know you guys were all going around with Bushwhacker Luke doing the Bushwhacker thing. Like, that just looked like an absolute blast to me, man.
Oh God. So if I need to describe anything of teaming with Bushwhacker Luke, just in general, even when he's trying to get trying to get anybody pumped up, and just how outlandish he actually is. There's some of the stuff he's saying on the apron, I'm almost bursting out laughing, because he's got that old Bushwhacker talk going on. I was like, all right, mighties, we're going to be going and doing this. You're going to take that guy down. Yeah, we're going to be beating him right into the ground. Just going on and on and on. And I'm like, man, this guy is 76 years old. He might be 77 now. And he's still up here. And I was just blown away by this. But he couldn't believe that my wrestling name is JaredThumb. And he was just like, what do you do with those thumbs, laddie? And I'm like, I mean, about everything. You kind of have to grab a hold of a guy to punch him with your thumbs and everything. He's like, yeah, what? And then he's asked me, what's Donnie's name? And I'm like, that's Donnie Pepper Cricket. He's like, oi, come on, Donnie. And then, the match, just hearing him trying to get the crowd fired up, it's like, this guy is nuts. I love this guy. But when we go and do the Bushwhacker walk after we win, me and Donnie are on the outside of guardrail, have all these kids in front of us. At one point, we lost him. We didn't know where he was. We were looking at the audience, and we're like, where did he go? And they're just laughing because they're like, this is awesome. But I'm like, no, we actually don't know where Luke's at. Where did he go? And then me and Donnie literally look at each other. We're like, oh, well. And we start bushwhacking back to the back, and everybody's like, that was awesome. And that's when it just starts. It's like, man, I remember my dad and my mom were just like, oh, God, that may have been one of the greatest things they've seen live, because they were laughing so hard. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, Bushwhacker's definitely a character. And if I ever get to see him again down the line, I'm going to ask him, hey, you remember who I am? He probably won't know. And I'm going to see if he's going to say the same thing about the JaredThumb name and just be so blown away by the name itself.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments from last year's Bridge City Slam. Just seeing everybody going around the ring. And for him to be as old as he is, and for still, one, being as in great a shape as he is, and for two, for him to still be out there and kind of moving around with guys more than half his age is pretty damn impressive.
I'm like, if I can move around like this at your age, I think I'm doing something right.
Man, and now this year's Bridge City Slam, Friday, June 2nd, Saturday, June 3rd, 2 days, man. That's quite a bit there. It's I love it though, because I feel like we're finally in a place here in Iowa where it's not so much out of the realm of think, oh shit, somebody can actually pull off a big wrestling weekend here in our state. And I mean, we have so many companies that do it. Obviously, there's the big Hall of Fame weekend that happens every year in Waterloo, and now we're getting this what we're calling Bridge City Slam weekend. It's kind of a cool thing that I'm really excited for to see what Austin and Co have set up for the weekend here. We got the Hall of Fame induction ceremony happening on Friday night, and then big fan fest on Saturday. I know we got some stuff lined up for Saturday. I've been kind of helping with that, and yeah, it's pretty cool though to see that we can actually kind of have something like this here in our little state.
It really is, actually, because I remember when I was like a lot younger and you're looking to try and find like cool events like this, it's only like if WWE ever comes around. But when you have like more options of wrestling and you kind of get to see like Hall of Famers from the past and just like, get to see other chains of wrestling, you don't see kind of the same stuff, and you get to see a lot of different eras collide and styles and just everything just mixed together. And for it to happen in Iowa, I mean, Iowa's already a big wrestling state just alone, just from amateur wrestling to professional wrestling to anything. And Bridge City Slam, I remember being at the first one. I did that seminar with Trevor Murdoch and seeing how far it's grown. I wasn't there for the second one, but seeing how far it's grown from where it was to now, you never really would be able to expect it.
Yeah.
And we can't really do that without the fans. And, fans come from different states to see this show, which is pretty, it's huge when you have people booking hotels and booking their tickets and getting a whole weekend ready for their kids or just to have fun. Because, this year we got Kurt Angle there, who I am personally very excited to see there. He's definitely one of my top 5. People could call me a mark for it. It's fine, but it's Kurt freaking Angle. But, just having all the talent come in and just also have some of the Central Empire Wrestling, loyal wrestling, and getting new fans along the way to now, it makes you wonder, where are we going to be in the next 5 years now?
Yeah.
How big are we going to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah, when he had told me about the idea of, hey, I think I'm going to make this a 2-day thing coming up here, I was like, dang, that's pretty bold. But if you can pull it off and have the events around it to do it, then by all means, and I think you can. And, speaking of Kurt Angle coming into town, I tell people all the time, and I feel like I always get weird looks about it. I think his run in Impact Wrestling or TNA was better than his WWE run, which is crazy because he did it all in WWE by the time he got released. There was realistically nothing left for him to do. He was already a Grand Slam champion and all these other accolades. And it's funny because he was with Impact Wrestling TNA longer than he was in WWE. So to realistically say, yeah, his run in Impact was better is not necessarily out of the realm, but I mean, just some of the matches and angles he was able to pull off there, he did some pretty impressive shit that I think people, if you're a Kurt Angle fan and you've never watched his Impact Wrestling stuff, I recommend going out of your way to watch just about anything he did over there.
He was one of the main reasons I actually started watching Impact. My dad told me Kurt Angle was over there, and I was like, I guess I'm watching Impact now. And then I found out the whole roster they had at the time. They had the Dudleys and AJ Styles and
Sting and
star-studded roster.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah, the matches he was able to pull off with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Sting, and Jeff Jarrett even. His run over there in Impact Wrestling, I'll argue to people this day was miles better than his WWE run. I have no problem arguing that with people. So, the other thing I love too about Bridge City Slam, he does a long enough meet and greet that you definitely get time to meet everybody. You don't ever feel like you're rushed in to meet in particular. The meet and greet is from 4 to 7 p.m., which I'm like, that is actually plenty of time with the amount of people to get to everybody that you want to meet. I've never had an issue out of Bridge City Slam where I was waiting in like a super long line, or if I was, it was moving at a pretty good pace. But I'm like, I think that 4 to 7 time window is what helps make his fan fest pretty great. And let's go through the other names. We talked about Kurt Angle. We have one of the most famous referees in wrestling history, Earl Hebner, coming in, who's also going to be refereeing a match between Josh C and AJ Smooth. That match is brought to you by Tag Team Photography, kind of a Iowa showcase match, I guess you could call it. Two of the best wrestlers we have in the Midwest here going one-on-one at Bridge City Slam. You also have Deborah McMichael. Yeah, Deborah McMichael's coming to town. I'm gonna have to have my best dressed outfit on for that weekend. You also have the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, one of the greatest managers of all time. And then Cowboy Bob Orton coming to town. And yeah, again, another star-studded list of legends that he has coming in.
Absolutely. I mean, just everybody that's coming in is going to bring a whole different era of wrestlers from each era. Like whether you watch back when Hogan was going, or when Rock and Austin was going, or even to the time of like Cena and, just Cena, Batista, into today's era. Like we have such a long list of talent coming in. It's going to bring like the entire eras of wrestling together, and it's just going to make for a great wrestling show. And you bring up Josh C and AJ Smooth, and I'm like, oh man, I've wrestled Josh C before, but he's gotten.
Oh yeah.
He's turning it up to a different notch now.
Yep. Well, he just appeared on WrestleMania as one of Dom's armed guards. Like we're sitting there watching it. I get a text message from my brother. Holy shit, that's Josh C. And I kind of look up and I look closer. I'm like, son of a bitch, you're right.
I texted him after. I was like, so I didn't know you could become like a cop in like a week, and then you get put on WrestleMania. But I got to chit chat with him about that, but I didn't hear about him being at Bridge City Slam and having Saint versus me that night. But then you have Jossie and AJ Smooth. That could be a contender to steal the show.
Yep.
Which is going to make me want to turn it up to even bigger style of just going all out. That's the plan.
When Clint Diet actually told me about that match that he had booked that, I was like, well, I'm really going to have to pace myself on commentary that night, because I can see no matter at what point he puts that Austin books that match at, and you see all the other great matches that we have lined up, I'm like, I'm not going to have very much of a voice by the end of that night if I don't pace myself, because it's a pretty stacked card. Let's go ahead and run down some of the other matchups that we have here. Obviously, the big one is the triple threat steel cage matchup featuring JT Energy, the longest reigning CEW heavyweight champion, Jay Fowler, who in my opinion has just become a belt collector. He won another title this past weekend in the Midwest for Zoa Championship Wrestling. And of course, you got Niles Plunkett, who is also a veteran in the business. And yeah, put this one in a steel cage matchup. That's what I'm excited for. The fact that it's going to be a steel cage, that's going to be a hell of a main event.
Absolutely. Like, obviously, I've wrestled JT Energy probably the most in my career, which there's a sense of respect for me and him at this point for each other. Great talent. But like you said, Fowler, he has been doing a lot of belt collecting, and man, he's turning it into a different gear of his career. And I've never wrestled him, so I don't know exactly his entire moveset completely, but from whatever I see Fowler on a screen, he's always going. He's always bringing the heat, and he's bringing everything he's got. But like you said, too, Niles Plunkett, who I just faced like months ago for that opportunity, like I have a respect for him because he is a veteran in this business. And, he's earned the right to be in that main event. In reality, I can't pick a winner for this match.
Yeah, it's Yeah, this match, when I know at some point I'll do a preview show with Bayless and we'll talk about that type of thing. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's he's got three really great talent who are at the top of their game right now, and I'm excited for that main event. Another match we also got announced. We have a 6-man tag matchup. We have the Suplex Cyclone Kurt Gannon, Candyman Willie Swede, Attila Khan versus Cowboy Bob Orton. The returning Rory Fox making his in-ring return, which he announced at the last time for CEW, and Storm Thomas making his Bridge City Slam return as well. Him and Austin put on that great matchup last year that we all thought was going to be Storm Thomas's retirement match, but no, he comes out there, gets called out to do the Battle Royal, goes almost 40-something minutes, almost an hour in that Battle Royal, then does another 20-minute match with JT Energy, and it's like, geez, man, for your first time back out there, and he didn't look like he missed a beat, and this one should be another fun one, man.
Absolutely. Like, you got so much talent going in to that 6-man tag, and from the Suplex Cyclone, the Candyman, Attila Khan, and Cowboy Bob Orton, Storm, and Rory Fox. And I know Rory Fox is he's itching to bring it all. He's going to put everything out there. He hasn't been in a ring for a long time, but I have no doubt when he gets in that ring, he is going to be the same Rory Fox we all know and love. But with Storm, man, it really impressed me with what he brought to the table when he came back. And to see that he's coming back to wrestling, I'll be honest, that's a little bit of a dream match for me. I would love to test myself against Storm at some point in my career. Who knows when? Who knows how? All I know is I'm down to test myself against the best. And I mean, who knows? I faced a bunch of guys in Central Empire Wrestling. There's a long list that JaredThumb can go through in that 6-man tag. And Cowboy Bob Orton, last time we saw him, he is so fun. I love Bob Orton.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Again, Friday, June 2nd, Saturday, June 3rd, Ottumwa, Iowa. It's gonna be a great time. I cannot wait for it. I'm really excited. I know we got some more planning meetings to come with everybody that's kind of helping plan the weekend, and we already got some fun stuff lined up for everybody. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I just can't wait to get there and see everybody. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's always, I'm getting down a little early, and I'm actually able to bring my dog with me. He's going to be staying in a hotel with me, so that'll be pretty nice to have him around and not have to worry about everything going on. And just, kind of just enjoy the show and get ready for the match is my plan for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to be there probably Friday afternoon sometime, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I think we got some great additions for the Hall of Fame. Storm Thomas getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. We also have Sean Nautilus. He was one of the longest reigning CEW champions. Like, that was another dude along with Rory Fox, who, when it comes to heel magnetism, Sean Nautilus was another guy that could definitely up the ante as far as getting that heel reaction.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree with that, since most of the Central Empire Wrestling shows I helped out with, he had just become the champion, and just seeing him wrestle and go out there as the heel, and just not only that, he's probably one of the big, taller guys you see in a Central Empire Wrestling ring, and which makes it even more like, are you intimidated by this guy, or are you going to go ahead and try and beat this guy? And one of the things I really dug with Sean was he came out to Pantera's 5 minutes alone.
Yeah.
Which made it even like, oh man, if you're going out there against this guy, you better be betting you're going to get your ass whipped a little bit, which is, you just got to be prepared for a fight with that guy.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be good to see him there again that weekend too. And we don't got a whole lot of time left here. So before we go, where can folks see you at next before Bridge City Slam? Because I know you got some upcoming bookings. So why don't you let the people know where they can catch you at?
This weekend, I will be in Partyville, Wisconsin for No Regrets Wrestling. I am the No Regrets Wrestling World Class Champion up there, and I am defending my title in a Hardcore War triple threat match against Perfection and another guy called Johnny CK, which I'm recording promos for right now and in the process of building that. Next month, I will be at SCW Pro shows. You just got to keep up with the schedule of that. And other than that, I go back down to Kansas on the 13th of May in Ottawa, Kansas. It's almost like Ottumwa and Ottawa, which I kind of get mixed up a little bit, but Ottawa, Kansas for Trailblazer Championship Wrestling. And other than that, then Bridge City Slam.
Right on, man. Right on. So, and for people who might want to follow you on social media, where can they follow you at, my friend?
I should be under at JaredThumb on Twitter, JaredThumb on Facebook, and on Instagram it's at Jared_Thumb.
So, all right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Make sure you're following Jared along here over the next month and a half or so. I'm sure you're going to have some great stuff coming out towards Damien Saint, your opponent for Bridge City Slam 5. Tickets are on sale now. Head over to Central Empire Wrestling Facebook page for more information. Jared, thanks a lot for coming on the show this week. And guys, until next time, we'll see you right here on the World Wide Web.